Hi, I'm going to give a basic tutorial on how I use Schoology. Right now I'm in my science course, which if you go up here, you can see these are your courses. And this is where I post all of my materials. And I teach 4 different classes. So you can see up here, it says Core 1, Core 2, Core 3, and Core 4. And I've linked all the sections together. If you do that, it's just important that you do that before you start assigning materials or grading anything. If you go back and you try to link them after the fact, it will delete your assignments that you had for those other classes. And one of your classes will become like your main class. So one of the things I like to always do first is just put a picture for the class. And then I'll just show you what these course options are. So these are where you can send a message to your entire class. You can send it to students, parents, or everybody. This is where you can kind of edit some of the different options for your course, privacy settings, things like that. Then right here, I have it set so that when students log on to my page, it takes them right to the materials page. By default, it normally goes to the updates page, which honestly I don't use very often. I mean, every once in a while I'll post some things, but typically everything is in the materials page. Some of the other things you can see here is this is your grade book. I'm not going to click on that right now just because it'll display everybody's name. Then the grade setup, that's where you put in like your different types of assignments. I have classwork, homework, labs, projects, and assessments. Mastery is something you can go in and link the different standards. And you can assign those standards to your different materials so that once they've met a certain standard or they've mastered that standard. Badges is another cool tool you can use to just reward students. You can take attendance. This is where you see all your members. Analytics gives you some good data, especially right now with remote learning. If you click on analytics, you can see when the last time they logged in was. So that is helpful. We've been using that a lot just to see who's been on Schoology and doing their assignments. And then conferences, Edpuzzle, Newsella. So there's all these different links here too. So let me talk about how I organize my Schoology page. So I like to put everything in folders, and I've done this by units. I did keep homework in a separate folder, and I just have all of my grab bags in here by quarter. And then I have my units. So I have unit 6, and then energy, the soil grid. We did a grid method for our soil unit, rocks in the rock cycle, minerals, matter. And then these I unpublished. These were kind of what we did in the very beginning so that it's not on there for the students. But when you unpublish something, it also unpublishes all the grades. So don't unpublish it if you still have assignments in there that are part of their quarter grade. So I can kind of just walk you through some of the different folders I have. If I start with motion is one of our smaller units, so there's not a lot in here. I like to start each one with a playlist, and it's just a YouTube link of all my videos for motion that I use throughout the unit and some extra ones that if they need to review or practice more, or they're curious about different things, then I just put all kinds of cool videos on one playlist on my YouTube channel. The other thing I use is I always do a quizzes at the beginning as a pre-assessment, and then I leave one up and running as a homework. So this code is still active right now, and they can access this anytime throughout the unit. And then this is a quiz that I've made in Schoology, and you can see it's just multiple choice questions. I can add in the question, and if I hit edit, you can see how I do the answer choices. So it looks like this. You just select which one is correct, and then you can assign it points, save question. Being really slow. And then something else you can do anytime you give an assignment like this, you can click on the statistics and you can see all of your average scores and some different data on your assessments and quizzes. All right, I'm going to go back to the folder by clicking this up here. Some other things I like to do for each unit is I do a Quizlet, and then I just link any other things. CK12 is another awesome resource to use. So this will take them to the main page, and CK12 is mainly for, I would say, middle school and high school. But like, for example, this is the main concept page for Schoology, and it has a bunch of different modalities, so they could choose like, oh, I want to go ahead and watch this video, and then I'm going to take the practice quiz. And if they don't do well on the practice quiz, maybe they need to go back and do the reading. And then there's a Plix, which is kind of like just an interactive simulation. And then there's some real world application here. So this is just a good resource. And then we'll go back. And a few more things in here. This is just a general link to different games, resources, and websites for the unit. And another Quizlet that was specific to the Bill Nye. And then more CK12 assignments. And then you can see the actual assessment right here, which is unpublished at the moment. I want to show you one more folder. So our soil grid, we set this up as a game so that they had to solve the soil crisis. And then as they worked through each level, the soil grid, and then they kind of worked through each level. The higher they got on each level, the higher their grade was for the whole grid. And then if I go back to the matter unit, we did something similar for matter. We set up a grid method, and it was set up like a game. So this one, they would advance to different levels, and they'd all start here at level 1, and then like the mushroom houses, it was Mario themed, obviously. The different mushroom houses were extra credit. The castles were the assessments. Some of the mushroom houses up here, as they advanced further, were just different labs and activities, and then, that they could work through. So just a couple different ways that I like to use Schoology. I do recommend organizing it in folders, something that works for you, that's easy for the kids, so they know, okay, I just need to go here. For our remote learning, before we left, we all created a folder called The Big Break, and we put all of our assignments for the next upcoming weeks in this folder. So the kids knew this is exactly where I need to go. This is where all my assignments are. So I think that helped a lot. And after spring break, since we're still doing remote learning, I'm just going to put more assignments in the same folder so they don't have to worry about like, oh, what folder do I go to? They just keep going to the same one. And one of the first things we did is we posted a calendar so that they could see, okay, week 1, I didn't have to do anything this week, and I just gave them some self-care ideas. The second week, these were still optional learning activities that they could do. And then week 3, I just kept it really simple. That way they had time to go back and maybe finish these that they weren't able to finish. And I'm going to try to hyperlink as many of these in this document that I can for the upcoming weeks. So that is how I use Schoology. Thank you. Hi, I just wanted to show you one more thing on Schoology that I kind of skipped over. So one, just adding materials. So you can click this add materials right here, and you can add a folder. You can add an assignment, a test or a quiz, assessment, and the assessment is different than the test or quiz in that it lets you add more types of questions. This is mainly short answer and fill in the blank and multiple choice. This one you can do drag and drop, matching, all kinds of different types of questions. You can also add from an external link or tool. You can import it from your Google Drive. If you click this here and you click File, then this takes you to the files that you have already on your computer, and you would just hit Attach Files, and then you can pull up different files from there. Another thing, if you click the external tool, I have some of those connected already, such as CK12 in my Google Drive. So right here, if I was using CK12, I could just go in, find the assignment from CK12 that I want, and put that on my Schoology page, and this will enable grading. and it will let me, or it will automatically put the grades from CK12 right into my gradebook. So that is awesome. And if you are importing from your Google Drive, you would click Import from Resources. And what this will do is, let's say you've created a document that you want to make a copy for all your kids so that they have their own. Like, let's say I wanted to give them their own copy of the science calendar. So I could click this and I would click Import File, and then it will download it. And then once it's complete, then when they open this, it'll make a copy of the document for all of them. So that's great for writing prompts or a worksheet where you want them to type in the answers. So didn't mean to skip over that the first time. So that's how you add different materials. You can also hit this little plus sign and it pulls up the same options.